Hey everybody, we are live. Hi guys, Sarah Zalecki. Guys, I am super excited about this. A lot of you guys know I love collaborating with people. I love getting to know people's stories. I love our amazing professional network marketing. And I just love just being blessed by so many people in our business. And guys, it's really cool because tonight, I'm super excited. I have the chance to actually interview a great friend of mine, Zach Slobin. So first of all, Zach, thank you so much for being on tonight.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah, oh my God, I'm so stoked about this. So for those of you guys that are jumping on, here's the thing I want you guys to do. We are actually doing it through Be Live, so we're not going to be able to do a whole lot of interaction stuff. So if you guys can make sure you give us a bunch of love, Zach's going to be dropping some great nuggets. So as he does, feel free to throw that in the comments so other people can read it and be inspired, because there's going to be a lot of things he's going to share that will be applicable to your business. But before we get started, guys, feel free to, go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from tonight. I am actually doing this from snowy Minnesota. Zach, if you can believe it, we got a freaking blizzard today. But you know what? That is the beauty of building a business online, right? And building a business from home, because I can be at home and still rock it out, right? Which is so cool. So guys, tonight we have a super important topic we're going to talk about. We're going to be sharing with everybody really just about your first year in network marketing, right? So do me a favor. I have a thing that I want to do. Drop me a heart if this is your first year in network marketing, right? And if it is, oh my gosh, let me give you a big, huge warm hug, because guess what? There are a lot of crazy things that you're going to be learning in this business. And, Zach and I, we could probably talk a lot about this, but I know for myself, I got involved in this business and I was super excited. And then I was like, holy crap, there's kind of like a lot more stuff that I have to figure out. Then I kind of got in, Zach. I don't know about you, but I got in and I was like, oh, I got this. You know what I mean? Hey, no biggie. And then I'm like, holy crap, I really don't got this, right? I mean, and I know that's you're going to, get a chance to share your story. But guys, for those of you that don't know Zach, make sure you follow him. I've tagged him in a bunch of stuff so you can follow him. He is married to a beautiful girl, Eden, and they make their home in California. And guys, it's really, you know what I love about this business? It is so about the law of attraction. And just your chemistry and who you are, and you attract people that are just like you in your tribe. And that's really what happened to Zach and Tony and I, because, it's almost a decade now. I was living in Southern California. Zach was in California, and we were actually standing in line, guys, at an event for a personal development conference. And at the time, he wasn't in network marketing. I was involved in another company. Matter of fact, I hadn't even had any kids yet, right? And now, I've got 2 kids. And we just built a friendship and stayed connected all these years. And then last year, or I should say 2 years, almost 2 years ago, we actually had the opportunity to share on stage our story together, side by side, at an amazing event called GoPro. If you guys don't know what that is, got to get plugged in, by Eric Worre. But here we both were, and we're looking at each other like, oh my word, who would have told us, right, that 10 years later we'd be here, right? And it's just so cool to see just everything come full circle. And obviously we're not in the same company, but we are each other's #1 fans, and we cheer each other on, and our spouses do the same for all of us together. And so guys, I'm just super thrilled to have Zach on. So Zach, what I would love to have you do first is maybe share a few minutes of just your story, because your story is really unique, and I feel a lot of people can relate to it. And then I definitely want to dive into our topic of, your first year of network marketing.
Right on. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me on to participate and to share with your virtual family. To say that I have always just loved and adored you and Tony, both as friends and as professionals in the industry, would be a gross misunderstatement. I remember when Eden and I first started building together, I said to her, go pay attention to Tony and Sarah Zalecki. They're a couple that does it right. You guys have just always done things with class and integrity, and you're a reminder of what this industry can produce when done the right way. So thank you for everything you do for the entire network marketing profession at large. Again, I'm just honored to be here with you guys tonight. And thank you for being patient in scheduling with me.
Yeah.
I know we started this process about 3 months ago. So thank you for your patience with that. We've been traveling like crazy. So.
Yeah. But that's one of the beautiful things about the business, right? I mean, you can build it anywhere. I know that you are heading off to Europe. And then after that, you're heading back to Korea. And but I think that's the excitement of, oh my gosh, like I can build a global business, in literally any time zone around the world, right? And maybe I know you might even touch on that a little bit, but I'd love for you to share your story.
Sure.
I think that's something that people just love to hear, is kind of like, man, how did this person get involved, and what was their, what was it like for them in the beginning too, right? That's
Totally.
a big part.
So when I was first introduced, I was actually first introduced to isogenics, or excuse me, I just said that.
That's okay, no big deal.
My bad. I actually I wasn't going to talk about that. What I was going to say is, when I was first introduced to network marketing was when I was about 15 years old. My dad and my mom had separated. They divorced, and my dad had some financial struggles. And one day he picks me up and he says, "Hey, I'm going to take you, and I want to show you something. I'm going to show you how I'm going to start to make money again, and kind of put some things back together." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And I remember he took me to this small little warehouse in Ventura, California, which is north of Los Angeles by about an hour or two. And he shows me a piece of soap, and inside the soap is a plastic toy. And he says, "This is the product. It's soap. And by the time a kid has bathed enough times, they're left with a toy." He said, "So that's the product, and we're going to sell it, Zach, doing something called multi-level marketing."
Oh my gosh.
That's what I said. And I was like, nope. Network marketing, multi-level marketing. I was like, I'm going to be a real entrepreneur. I'm going to be a real business person when I grow up, because I always want to be an entrepreneur. And I was like, no way, no how. So fast forward about 8 years later, I was in a conversation with a gentleman who says to me, he goes, "Hey, Zach," he goes, "I want to get your opinion on something," right? Just total backdoor approach. He goes, "I want to get your opinion on something." He goes, "I don't drink coffee. You drink coffee. I'm looking at a business opportunity. I'd love to get your opinion on the product. Will you come with me next weekend to San Jose?" We were living in San Francisco at the time. I was there. He said, "Will you come with me and check out this product?" I said, "Sure." So they start serving this coffee, and I'm like, this coffee tastes amazing. Oh my God. They're like, "We're going to import it from 7 different countries in Africa." And I'm sitting there going like, coffee industry. Oh my God, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow. And then they say, "And we're going to distribute it using network marketing." And I go like this. Nope. And as we're leaving the building that day, a gentleman comes up to me and he says, "Hey," he said, "I saw your body language in there. I saw kind of the way you responded to what we talked about in terms of the distribution model." He said, "Zach, you don't realize this yet." He said, "But you have the potential to be one of the most powerful networkers I've ever met in my life." He said, "Go home and do your research on the profession. If you really get what this is all about and you still decide that it's not for you, then no big deal. We'll part as friends." And I thought, that sounds fair enough. And I went home and I did my research, and I actually ended up coming across a variety of very credible videos and articles and things like that. And I just got it. I really just got the business model. But what I fell in love with was, I came across a statistic that day, Sarah, that said the divorce rate in the United States would be reduced by 50% with an additional $300 to $500 a month brought into the household. Mm. And I thought to myself, wow, okay, so here's a way that I can create leverage for myself and create real wealth as an entrepreneur. But more importantly, maybe, just maybe, I can make an impact to help families stay together so they don't have to experience divorce due to financial strains like my family did.
Wow, that is so powerful.
That was my why. That was it.
Wow.
And I got into business, and I got really excited, and we can come and so much of my first year in network marketing we'll talk about, and kind of some things I can pay forward. But anyway, fast forward, CEO took off with the money. Nightmare story number 1. Got involved in another company about a year and a half later, did very well in that company after struggling significantly for a little while. I finally really caught up and figured some things out and started to make some money. The challenge was that company was directly tied to the real estate market. And you and I met right after this, I think.
Yeah.
And when the real estate market crashed, that company crashed. I crashed with that company. I went broke. And I swore off network marketing. I wanted nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. Fast forward a couple years later, I met my wife. She fell in love with the products I was using to get to get myself into shape, and she caught the vision. She said, "I want to go do this." And really, what she said was, she said, "Look, dude," she said, "I didn't spend the last 10 years of my life looking for the man I want to be married to, just to be separated by 14 or 15 hours a day doing things that we hate. Come do this with me."
Oh, wow.
Come do this with me. And I said, okay. That was about 6.5 years ago. And man, am I glad that was the one time in our relationship that she was right.
Yeah. Yeah, right. I know your wife. She's right a lot.
My wife is right a lot. And frankly, like you should get her on here sometime, because she's brilliant, and she is the epitome of network marketing and an equal playing field. She didn't graduate high school. I don't know if you know that about her, but wow. she's just brilliant. So Eden's amazing. And I think I saw her.
I'd love to.
Anyway, so that's the Cliff's Notes version of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So what an awesome story. I mean, I think it's so important for a lot of people to know too. It's like, just because, you've been involved before and it didn't work, it doesn't mean it's not going to work, and a lot of times there's situations that are outside of yourself that you don't really have a lot of control over. And I tell people too, a lot of times, I've had people that have joined our business that, they're really nervous and they're scared, or even if they're just looking and they're on the fence, they're like, oh my gosh, like, what if I can't make it work? Like I didn't make it work before. And I was like, well, yeah, but what if you can? It's like, I think about, like for me personally, Zach, like a little bit of my story, like Tony and I, we met when we were 32. You know what I mean? And like, guess what? I dated a lot of crappy guys, and some of them might be watching, sorry guys, but like not great relationships, right? For a long, long time, till I found my guy, till I found Prince Charming. And I sure could have hung it up and said, you know what, this sucks, I'm never dating, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, just because you go on a bad date or you're in a bad relationship or what have you, doesn't mean you're not going to find the right one. And that's the same thing in our business here, where it's like, guys, I know all of us, like we have a dream, right? And whatever that dream is, like, don't forget about that, because network marketing is right. You just got to find the right home for you, whatever that is, right? And I love that there's so many homes here, right, in network marketing for people. And I love when I meet people all the time that they're like, XYZ company or whatever company they're involved in. I just champion them, and I'm just like, hey, I'm just glad you're here. I'm just glad you get it. I'm just glad that you're in this amazing profession. However I can best support you and serve you, like, let's go, let's do this, right? And I think for us too, we champion each other so much, Zach. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, when I see things happening in your business, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like this is awesome. And because it just elevates our profession as a whole, right? The more you win, the more I win, the more our profession wins, right? And so let's deep dive into this topic of your first year in network marketing. I know you've got, just so much good stuff that you want to share with these guys. So if it's okay, I'm going to kind of give you the platform to kind of go through your piece. I've got my pen, I've got my notebook to take some good notes. I might chime in a little bit or just give a couple shout outs when I love all the good stuff you share. But I'm going to go ahead and give you the platform, and let's dive into this topic.
Right on. And it's just really quickly, it's funny. I always tell people that network marketing, it's kind of like the Matrix when Morpheus goes to Neo and he goes, look, if you take the red pill, you just kind of go back to the way that things were in your life before you met me. You take the blue pill, you're in the Matrix, you recognize that you can create anything. Here's what's possible. Which pill do you want to take?
Yeah.
And when you really get network marketing, when you really understand the business model of it, what's possible here, what's possible for so many people in their lives, and you take that blue pill, like no matter how hard you try and stay away from this business, no matter how challenging your first year might be or your 10th year might be, there's just nothing better in the world. And absolutely, like when we all win, we all win, right? Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm all about championing everybody in every company. Okay, so all right, I'm just trying to think like where to start. Let's just really, and this actually, I thought about it, Sarah, and I know we're talking about kind of year one in network marketing, but I also believe that what I'm going to share really applies to a lot of people, no matter how far into their journey they are, quite frankly. And let's start at the beginning. And in the beginning of network marketing, there is the decision that we make to elevate our lives, right? To do something really different and to really put ourselves out there in a way that is more or less non-traditional. Mm-hmm. And what happens with that, obviously, is we tend to get pushback. In my experience, it's very rare that a person goes and launches their business and they don't have some people in their lives that are close to them that start to say all kinds of things like, you need to keep your real job. That's a fantasy. Don't get caught up in one of those things. You're wasting your time. You're not cut out for stuff like that. And all the negative chatter from all the people that are closest to us can really start to hamper and dampen people's early excitement. It can really start to dampen people's early excitement. And I think that's something that challenges people very early on, because they get excited and they think everyone's going to support my vision. Everyone is going to want to do this with me. Everybody's going to see what I see. And quite frankly, it's just not reality. And the reason it's not reality is that we've got to understand the psychology of how humans operate. And when we are able to understand the psychology of how people operate, we can find a greater sense of compassion. So what really happens? What happens is we're born into a tribe, right? We're born into a community. And in that community, everything that they do is right in their mind. So how they hunt is right. How they gather is right. How they fish is right. Everything that they do is right because they know no other realm of possibility. It's just how everything has always been done. And you come into this community and you start to have your own thoughts. You start to have different ideas on how you might be able to gather food or how you might build a hut or whatever it may be. And there's some part of you that says that life might be different if I just start to think and act and operate differently. And the challenge is that as soon as you start to follow that calling, as soon as you start to follow that pull in your heart, your tribe goes into fear-based thinking. Because what's happening is you start to leave the tribe, as you start to question their beliefs, as you start to do things against the norm, as you start to kind of want to reprogram some of the conditioning that you've been exposed to from the time you were a child, quite frankly, as you start to do that, you now become a threat to all of their belief systems.
Yeah.
We become a threat to them. And what's really fascinating is that when they react from a space of fear or no, don't do that, or judgment or criticism or name calling or text message threads about what you're doing, which we've had plenty of in our build, right? Closest people to us. When they're doing that, what I really want people to get is, believe it or not, they're doing it from a space of love. They're trying to protect us. Now, they don't realize that what they're doing is going to have a negative impact on us. They don't realize that they're being critical, but what they think they're doing is they're trying to protect us from leaving a little bubble, because what's in the unknown to everybody is just that. It's unknown. There's no certainty. There's certainty with how things have been done for hundreds of years in your particular tribe or in society at large. But when we start to leave, when we start to break away from that, it really starts to force people to look at their own reality. And it basically says to them, how you do life is wrong. And so they feel threatened and they feel scared for you. Those are the two things that we're experiencing. So the very first thing that I want everyone to be aware of is, when you get negative pushback from your friends and family or from people in your social circle, even on social media, just know that all that's happening is that you are triggering certain parts of them that either they've never looked at, they've been scared to look at, or they didn't believe was possible in their own lives. So that's the very first thing that I really want you guys to get when you get pushback early on in your build.
That is so good. Oh my gosh. I've never heard someone talk about like the whole tribe and community piece of that, like, or you know what I mean, explain like that. And I just think that for so many people, like, what an awesome visual where they're like, I mean, I guarantee there's people that are like watching saying, oh my God, I get it now. Oh my God, I get why he was saying that or why he did those things. And understand, like, I love what you said where you're like, guys, understand that they're doing it out of love to protect you, right? And they don't realize that it's a negative thing. They're thinking it's totally the opposite, right? It's just, that was such good nuggets. That was so good.
And so thank you. And so what's important is that a lot of people, what they make the mistake of doing is, and I say raising my hand, is we try and confront their ego with our ego. And we say, okay, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. Watch me go do this. watch this space. Like how many times on Facebook have you seen somebody post, watch this space? I'm like,
yeah, always.
Yeah. Right? Like, watch this space. We're going to take over the world, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to go do it. And we start to counteract their ego with our ego. And I assure everyone that's watching this, the more that you try and go with your ego at their ego, the more you're going to limit any possibility of them ever being open to what you're doing. Not joining you necessarily, but even being open to supporting you. Mm-hmm. So really, what I can, and this is reflecting now after years of looking at how I dealt with certain situations, I just want you to leave with love. Leave your tribe with love. Leave from a place of not proving it to spite them, but to demonstrate what's possible, not in your life, but more importantly, in their lives. I really want you to consider for a moment that you're going to leave a world that was living in black and white. Your tribe lives in black and white. You're going to live in color. And by living from a space of service and a space of love and a space of going to do it to demonstrate yourself as an example and as a bearer of permission, you're more likely to have people start to join you. So what's going to happen is, as long as you stay grounded, as long as you make it about other people, as long as you come from a place of love and service and not ego, as long as you do those things day in and day out, over time, I promise you, one by one, they're going to start to come. Mm-hmm. One by one, people are going to join you. One by one, the people that had the most to say about you will become one of your number one partners or one of your best customers. One by one, they're going to start to come. And all because you went first. And all because you took a stand, and all because you said, with or without you, even though I love you, I'm going to let the world know who I am.
Yeah, so good. Did you guys get that? Here's my tip that I got off that one. Well, a lot of tips, but really one that went bing was, to demo what's possible, not to prove them wrong. Because a lot of people I know, when they do get the pushback, they tend to get defensive, right? Like you said. And it's like, well, I'm going to prove them wrong, like, screw you, right? And where the ego, which we know when you have ego, like, you have no room for abundance, right? I mean, it's like scarcity, so crazy. But I just love that, like, demonstrating what's possible. It just, like, great nugget, great drop.
And then at the same time, it's also important, and here's what's really fascinating about your early tribe. They give you so much opportunity to practice posture. It's amazing. So now I'm just going to pay forward a little skill, just a little technique, if that's okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So when if they start to give you a hard time, or if they mockingly ask you about your business, whether it be online or the social gathering, here's where you get to practice posture. And it goes like this. Hey, thank you so much for expressing an interest in what I do. We're at a family gathering, or I'm busy, or whatever it is. Whenever you'd like to, I'd be happy to find some time on my calendar for us to sit down and get all of your questions answered. But otherwise, I'd rather not talk about my business tonight. And just take it all away from them and just have the posture to say, like, look, if you want to talk about my business sarcastically or otherwise, you can book an appointment with me.
That's so good.
You can book an
appointment. I love that. Wow.
And you'd be amazed, because what'll start to happen is people start to take you seriously. And then the other part is, some of us, look, radical responsibility and radical accountability is the greatest insight into how we can grow as people ever. And some of us that are watching this right now, some of us have to be very realistic and understanding, well, wait a minute, why aren't they giving me more credit? Well, here's why. If a week ago you were asking someone to borrow money, and a week later you're telling them that you're going to show them how to create financial freedom, well, here's the thing about our brains. We have a thing in our brain called the RAS, the Reticular Activating System. It's our unconscious mind that basically it's our BS meter, quite frankly. So
I love that.
If a week ago you were asking me for money, and a week later you're telling me how you're going to show me how to get to financial freedom, my alert system is going red alert, red alert, red alert. Something here is out of alignment. So some of you get to work on your influence and your credibility so that your family looks at you and says, okay, at the end of the day, this is someone who I can count on to do business with. Some of you already have influence with your social circle, so they're going to look at what you do and go, well, if he or she is doing it, then it must be worth paying attention to. But for those of you that are getting really, really significant amounts of negative pushback in your first year, just take a look at your track record, take a look at your history, and ask yourself the question, am I somebody today that I'd want to follow? And then can I go to work, or how can I go to work in my leadership development, in my skills? And you do things like that by plugging into leaders like Sarah and Tony and all the amazing resources that are available to us in the world today, and growing yourself as a person so that they can watch and see, okay, this person's really committed. They're really serious.
Mm-hmm. So good. Okay, keep going. So good. Oh, you took a glass of water. I was taking great notes. I love it.
All right. So I'm just kind of freestyling here. I'm like no notes. I'm just kind of freestyling with you, if that's okay.
Yeah, it's so good though.
All right. So what else in first year? Here's the thing that Eden says the best. Eden talks about it all the time. She says that one of the things that makes network marketing so unique and so special is that it's so forgiving. Your network marketing company does not care how long you take to develop the skills necessary to become successful. This isn't corporate America where if you don't produce or you don't perform, you're going to get fired. No one's going to fire you. So knowing that you have time, commit your first year to practicing as much as possible. Practice asking people to take a look at your opportunity. Practice asking them to take a look at your products, right? Practice in real life conversations with no attachment whatsoever. No attachment whatsoever. You got to be willing to practice, because the more you practice, the better you're going to get. And the better you get, the more confident you're going to become. The more confident you become, the more certain you are. And people join people who are certain. So commit to practice as much as possible and as vigorously as humanly possible. Rip off the Band-Aid. It is a lot harder to go slow in this business in your first year than it is to go fast. It's just harder. It's just painful. Right, I'll talk to people even on our team, and I'll say, how, in your last, in the last 90 days, how many people would you say you've spoken with? Well, about 10. Okay, and then they'll look at somebody on our team that's killing it, and they'll be like, well, that person spoke with 10 people in the last 10 minutes. Right. Like, action equals results. Always remember that. And And then here's something else I want you guys to really get, and this goes for first year, second year, third year, fifth year, 50th year. When you find yourself stuck, when you find that you are anxious, when you find that you're suffering, when you find that you're concerned with what somebody might think about a post that you put, when you're paralyzed about going live on Facebook, when any of those things are occurring, first year, second year, third year, what I want you to know is that the reason you're suffering is because you're making it about you. Yeah. You're suffering because you're making it about you. And one of the biggest things that I wish I could have understood in my first year in network marketing was it had nothing to do with me. What we do is not about us. And the sooner you can realize that and embrace it and embody it, and not just hear me say it intellectually, but truly internalize it and truly start to believe and recognize that what we're doing as permission bearers, as bridge builders, as door openers is just that. We're creating a space of possibility every single day for one person to get our message, for one person to sink into what we're doing, for one person to join our tribe that day. That's it. That's all we're ever focused on. So when you are suffering in your first year, I promise you it's because you're making it about you, and that's your ego. That's your ego.
And you know what? It's so funny that you say that, because I actually did a training today inside of one of our lines, and one of the things that I talked about is I struggled for a long time because of that. You know what I mean? Like I struggled with, even like bringing in people that were higher caliber than myself. And the reason I was struggling is I was so afraid of what do I talk to? How do I talk to him? I felt like I needed to do something different, or I needed to do something special, or I just didn't talk to him because I had so much fear. And the reality was I was getting in my own way, because like you said, I was making it all about me. And it's like, oh my gosh, the sooner that I got out of the way, oh my word, like my business, like literally, I mean, it was like on full on tilt, and the rest is history, right? But for a lot of us, like that's, that's a struggle, early on. And I just want, I love that. I love how you talked about, every day it's about creating a space of possibility for someone. Like so good, like so good, just so good. Okay. I love it.
You want me to keep going?
So let me ask you this. So, okay. So let's think about, for the brand new guy that's watching this right now, and they have some fear with like, just maybe even launching, right, their business. Maybe they, what would be some advice that you would give for them with, just maybe being a newbie with just really just launching. I think a lot of times people kind of tiptoe, when it comes to kind of getting started, and they don't get off to that fast start. And, what would be some tips that you could give them to tweak that? Maybe even subconsciously, right? Most of the time, that's usually what it is.
Well, I'd say 99.99999% of the time, it's mindset, it's unconscious beliefs, things like that. Mm-hmm. Let's do this first. Let's pick this apart for a minute, because you used a word that gets thrown around by a lot of people very loosely, and that's fear, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone talks about they're fearful of launching, they're fearful of taking action, and I really want to bring some awareness to this idea of fear. What most people have is not fear. What most people have is worry. Fear is a primitive design in our brains using our reticular activating system, that lizard brain of ours. Fear is designed to protect us and keep us safe. It was an evolutionary thing that we basically had that said, oh, there's a saber-toothed tiger over by the water. I'm not going to go there today, because if I do, the saber-toothed tiger might eat me. I'm not going to go there, right? Or fear says a bear jumps in front of me, fight, flight, or hide. Right? That's what fear is designed to do. Fear is designed to protect us. It's evolved to all of a sudden think that, oh, I'm scared of posting on Facebook. No, it's not the same chemicals that are going off in your brain. What you're experiencing is worry. Worry is based on a perceived potential outcome. Worry is based on a perceived potential outcome. So what people have is not fear. What they're experiencing is worry. And the fascinating thing about worry is it's a complete choice. You are choosing to focus on a perceived potential outcome. So what that means is, if I can choose to worry about a perceived potential outcome, couldn't I also then set an intention of what I'd like the outcome to be? Mm-hmm. And part of that intention might be choosing to be completely emotionally unattached to whatever the results are, and solely focused on choosing in the present moment to take the action necessary. So fear versus worry, really important, really important. The next thing is, when it comes to being, again, paralyzed or whatever it may be, just remember that action removes all doubt, and action breeds clarity. That's so important for you guys to get. When you're feeling stuck, take action. Action breeds clarity. Action removes all doubt. And then the other thing is, you got to start to ask yourself this question. And I can be polarizing, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with bringing things, and I just feel like that's part of my responsibility. I'd be out of alignment with myself if I didn't just tell it like it is. You know that about me, right?
Yes.
Okay. My big question for people is this: is what's worse? Right? Like what's really worse? Is what is worse? When you think about the possibility of posting on Facebook, reaching out to a couple people, they say no. What's worse? If we're going to worry about something, what's worse? Worrying about that, or fast forwarding, laying on your deathbed and looking back on your life, wondering what if? What's more painful? Choose your pain. Mm-hmm. What's more painful? So you can either suffer in the moment, or you can suffer in the end. Mm-hmm. Which one? And I'll challenge people on our team when they, I'm scared to book. Great, cool. Hey, when we first got going, and you said this, and this is why you wanted to do this, right? What's more painful? The idea of somebody's judgment, or looking back on your life and wondering what might have happened had you taken action in that very moment. Mm. And if we're willing to hold ourselves to that standard of accountability, if we're willing to hold ourselves to that standard of accountability, we're more likely to take action, because what we're doing is we're saying, okay, what do I value more? What's in alignment with my highest values? What would the future me choose to do in this moment? What would that me choose to do? The person who has dreams, the person who has endeavors, the person who has goals, what would he or she choose to do in this moment? That's your soul speaking with you. That's your heart calling. Take that step, and then take the next step, and allow it to compound over time. And all of a sudden, one day you wake up and go, oh, got it. That wasn't so bad. Right. And then there's one other thing I got to dispel. And there's this myth, right? And we hear it all the time. It's like, you got to get out of your comfort zone, right? We hear it all the time. Got to get out of your comfort zone. I'm so anti the comfort zone. Here's why, okay? Here's why. There's nothing comfortable about having to say no to the people you love. There's nothing comfortable about not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Something I've experienced. There's nothing comfortable about, and this was me, there's nothing comfortable about being 27 years old, living on your mom's couch, dead broke, borderline suicidal. There's nothing comfortable about that experience. There's nothing comfortable about watching your dad have no money and have to find and use a bucket of pennies he had collected over 10 years to pay for food for his kids. There's nothing comfortable about that experience. There's nothing comfortable about scraping for change to buy cigarettes because they're cheaper than food to suppress your appetite. There's nothing comfortable about those things. There's nothing comfortable about you looking at your kids and saying, sorry, sweetheart, not this time. There's nothing comfortable about going to a restaurant, looking at the meal you want to get, and then looking to the right side of the menu and saying, can't afford that. There's nothing comfortable about any of those experiences. Nothing. Those are uncomfortable experiences. Those are uncomfortable. I like being comfortable. Flying first class to Europe and to Korea, way more comfortable than flying economy. Way more comfortable. Driving a nice car, more comfortable. Living in a nice house, it's just more comfortable. It's not a necessity, it's not the only thing, but it's more comfortable. So start to ask yourself the question in your first year. Are you okay staying in that uncomfort zone? Are you okay staying in that familiar zone? Are you okay just with things staying the same? And if you are, that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. But your actions are going to equal your results every single day of the week.
I've never heard it talk like that. That's so good. I mean, it's so good for me because there's a couple of things right for me right now that I'm like, oh, dude, Zach just like kicks me in the teeth right now. Like, there's a couple of things I need to start doing once I get off this live today. So good. Oh my God, that was so good. Guys, oh my God, if you guys have gotten some great value, if you feel this live has been helpful, drop me some of the nuggets that you're getting on here. Drop me some emojis. Give me some stuff on how you're feeling. Zach, I know we got to wrap this up. You and I, we could do like a 3-hour workshop on here. But if you were brand new all over again, give me, doesn't have to be your number one tip, but maybe just something that you can leave these guys with that you wish that you would have done early on, that you feel that probably would have helped you maybe move even faster in your business, or maybe even change the outcome. Even though you've got massive success now, like maybe it would have even changed it even more if you would have done that at the very beginning.
Yeah. First, there's a couple things, but the biggest one is commit to your personal development. Network marketing is personal development with a pay plan, plain and simple. It's success in anything. It's literally, I'm all about skill development, but it's 85% mindset, 15% skill set. It just is. It just is, right? So go to work. Go to work on some of your limiting beliefs. Go to work on those unconscious barriers. Go to work on the things that you're avoiding going to work on. That's for sure. The next thing is, I wish I had learned and understood. I wish I'd ripped off the mask of my ego a lot earlier in my career. I really wish I really wish I had done that. It would have gone faster. And last but not least, and I mentioned it briefly, is radical responsibility. Radical responsibility. Everything in your life that you have, you deserve, and everything you deserve, you can have. And I know that first part can be challenging for people to hear, but you are the creator of your life. You're the creator of your experience. There are certain things completely out of your control, but how you respond or how you react is entirely up to you. Radical responsibility for everything that you're experiencing, so you can create an awareness. And again, going back to that awareness, the first step in transformation is acknowledging the ways in which I have contributed to my results as they are today. Acknowledging the ways in which I have contributed. I wish I had understood that principle years ago. I wish I had understood that. Radical responsibility. And one of the things I've learned how to do, and again, I wish I had done this a long time ago, was imagine that there was a documentary film crew following you around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Imagine that they were following you around 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What choices would you make different to the ones that you're making right now? Because your team's going to see it. Your family's going to see it. People that you say are doing this are going to see it. Radical responsibility will change your life like that.
I love it. Well, guys, here's the thing. I know a lot of you guys are already sharing this out, so thank you for the shares. If you haven't, make sure you tag your teams in it. Make sure you tag, people that are brand new getting started in your business. Zach, I just want to say thank you. I know Eden, you're watching. Hi, we love you. But I value your guys' friendship so much. Congratulations on just all your just amazing success. I know you've got tons of amazing rock stars on your team as well. It's just so fun to just watch just your travels and just all these just great things that have happened over the last couple of years with you guys. But guys, again, oh my gosh, I want to encourage you guys, go back through this replay. So many good notes. I already have a full page that I've taken on and look forward to going back on. But again, Zach, thank you so much for being on. And man, just thanks for making our profession so proud. I mean, it's awesome. It's awesome to see.
Well, again, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for everybody for joining tonight. I know you guys could be anywhere. I just want to leave everybody with one last thought in the context of everything that we've been talking about, if that's okay. And that's
yes.
It's that there's everybody, first year, second year, whatever, there's 100% chance that you're going to die. There's a 100% chance that you're going to die. So why spend 95% of your life worried about how other people think you should live? Thanks, guys, for having me. I really appreciate you.
Oh, it's so good. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.